Greetings and salutations. Seahawks Palaver here, ringing in the offseason finally with the 49ers crashing and burning in the Super Bowl, which is always nice to see as a Seahawks fan. And just imagine missing an extra point to totally change the complexion of the game and letting Patrick Mahomes come back and do Patrick Mahomes things. That was fun to watch. Anyway, let's move on to the Seahawks roster right now. It's an exciting time, exciting offseason with new coaching staff. As much as I loved Carroll and company, it was time for them to go. Just the results in the field were not there. So looking at what we have to deal with now, we have a lot of free agents. We have no cap space to work with. It is going to be, we're going to have some challenges this offseason, but I think that if we visualize it a bit, we can kind of see where we're strong at, where we're weak at, where we need to improve. So let's just take a little look at what we have going on here. So Geno Smith is ensconced as our starter for now. We'll see what happens later on in the week. He does have a roster bonus due in 5 days. I don't anticipate him being cut before then. It just seems kind of quick to have assembled this staff or whatever. But, I mean, ultimately, maybe it's just up to Schneider. Maybe Schneider will be like, look, don't count on Geno Smith being the quarterback. Think outside the box. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just saying is that, $12.5 million is a lot for someone that you're going to cut later. Or maybe they trade him in by March. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But he's good enough right now. He's good enough to get by for now. It's just, do you want to pay $30 million for good enough? I don't know. Maybe that's what you do with a quarterback. Not an accountant. I will just leave that up to them. Moving on to the wideouts. We have a solid group right now, right? With DK, Bobo, my boy Bobo, right? If you remember last year, I mocked him to the Seahawks all the time in the later rounds until he ran the 4.99. And I stopped because I didn't think anyone was going to draft him. And no one did. But then he came back to the Seahawks anyway and made the team as an UDFA, and that made me super happy. So my boy Bobo, I think will have an expanded role next year, hopefully. JSN really started picking up his game at the end of the year. I still don't think Waldron really knew how to use him. His depth of target was really low, and that's not necessarily his game. Maybe he thought it was. I don't know. But there are ways to fix that this year. But one of them is getting new offensive coordinator, and that's what we got. Tyler Lockett, again, I have him in blue here as a starter rotation. $30 million for declining production on an aging wideout whose small and quick traits aren't good traditionally. As he gets older. Is he a cut candidate? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if do you want to pay $30 million for 800 yards of receptions? I don't know. And maybe 4 touchdowns? Seems like a steep ticket to me. I'm not sure. But at the same time, I don't see Derek Young and D. Eskridge, coming up and fulfilling Tyler's position. I just don't. Good side is the upside is that this is a very deep wideout class, and I think that we can get someone who can start, or at least be a third wideout or fourth if Bobo is the third wideout, deep into the draft, and we'll look at that later. Tight end, that's an issue. We only have Uncle Will under contract, Will Disley, and he's not really worth this contract. So I don't know what we're going to do. Colby Parkinson, Noah Fant, all free agents. I'm pretty sure Tyler Mabry is free agent too. I put him in the free agent section. I'm fairly certain. You have Brian Russell as an exclusive rights free agent also. We'll just have to see what happens at the tight end spot. But right now, it's pretty thin. You'll have Will Disley on a crappy contract. We'll have to wait for this to play out. It seems reckless to cut our only tight end, but it also seems equally financially irresponsible to keep him with what he's getting paid right now. We'll see. Running back, solid with Walker, Charbonnet, and McIntosh, who we didn't really get to see a whole lot last year, but hopefully he'll stay injury-free this year, and he will be able to fill in the DJ Dallas role that he played, the role that DJ Dallas played last year. Not as good a running back class this year as last year. Last year, look at all the undrafted free agents that made waves this year in the running back class. There are a lot of good running backs last year. It was crazy. Not so much this year, but there's still some later round gems that maybe we can tap into to fulfill the spot. We shall see. Offensive line, I thought was fixed. I really, really did. With Cross and Lucas last year, I thought our problems were finally over at tackle. We can kind of work in the guards, massage them around. Things are going to be fine. But then Lucas's knee acted up, and I hope that it's not chronic. He says he's gotten taken care of. I don't know what that means. I don't know what's going on with him. We shall find out, but this is something that we have to plan for next year because relying on Stone Forsyth is not going to cut it. It's just not. On the upside, Anthony Broadford looked really good, splitting time with Phil Haynes, who's a free agent. Oluwatimi showed up when he needed to when Evan Brown was out. We can probably pencil in Oluwatimi as a starter for next year. We probably can. We'll see what happens, but I was really happy with his play. Hopefully we'll bring Damian Lewis back because I like him, but he doesn't score very well according to PFF. I don't know if PFF just hates the Seahawks and they just don't like to grade our offensive linemen very well. But then watching them perform, I can kind of see it. We just didn't play very well across the board. I had to move people around a lot. I don't know, but hopefully, again, we have a new offensive line coach, and things will be a bit different next year. But we're definitely going to have some new faces, I think. It's a really deep draft for offensive linemen, and I really hope that we tap into that at some point. On defense, Draymond Jones. People are saying he's not living up to his contract, and of course he wasn't. But we played weird last year. Our defensive line was just weird. We were supposed to be a 3-4, but I don't think we played 3-4, maybe 2 snaps a game, it seemed to me. Very rarely did we line up 3 interior linemen. And I think maybe it was because just we didn't have the personnel. I mean, we didn't really have a lot of interior linemen. Mike Morris was hurt the whole time. And even Cameron Young was hurt at the beginning of the year. Monet was hurt all year, right? We just didn't have I don't think we had the manpower to make it work. We traded for Leonard Williams in the middle of the season, a trade that I was very much in favor of. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I loved Big Cat. I was glad that we got him, and I really hope that we can bring him back. Not just because of the sunk cost involved already, but just because I think he's a good player and think he's going to be a good player for a couple more years. Back to Draymond Jones. Not living up to his contract? I think he will this year. I think that if Mike McDonald kind of plays him in the Jason Madubuike, am I pronouncing that right? I have no idea. I hate pronouncing his name. It just looks weird on paper. It feels weird coming out of my mouth. Jason Madubuike. We play him like Baltimore played him last year. I think Draymond Jones has a resurgence because that's kind of how he played in Denver. They played him out wide a lot. We brought him in. We wanted an interior presence. That's not really his game. Again, maybe he can develop. I mean, I think that I thought he played a little bit better as the year went on, but Jason Madubuike, they played him split out wide a lot. And I think that if they kind of put Draymond Jones into that role, he can live up to his contract. And we don't need to worry about signing Madubuike because he's a free agent. I think we kind of already have him in Draymond Jones. Remains to be seen. I could be wrong, but that's my feeling. Hopefully Mike Morris comes back. I have high hopes for him. He put on a lot of weight. Maybe that's why he was hurt a bit. He didn't have maybe his ligaments weren't built yet, weren't strong enough yet to support the extra weight that he put on. He put on a good 25 pounds. The Seahawks wanted him to bulk up, and he did. And we drafted him, and he got hurt. Jaron Reed, it seems like he plays his best when he's with the Seahawks, so that was good. I thought he played great last year. Cam Young, I really want to see more of him, but we didn't really play him a lot, and that kind of stinks. Monet was hurt all year. Probably a cut candidate that immediately saves us $5.5 million, so he's probably gone. Mafe did great, a bit inconsistent, some up and downs, but I think overall he was probably our best outside linebacker after Nwosu got hurt. which sucked. Our defense really took a nosedive after he left, and I don't know why that is. A defense should be able to absorb the loss of one player, but I guess Nwosu was our best player, and it's hard to overcome the loss of your best player sometimes. So hopefully he comes on strong next year because we really need him. Derek Hall, I was iffy on the pick at the time, and I'm even more so now. I was a huge Kobe Turner fan. I loved Kobe Turner. It would have been great to have drafted him instead of Derek Hall, or even some of the other ones that were available. Like the guy the Steelers got, he was available. Keanu Reeves, John Wick. No, the other guy, you know what I mean. The Steelers guy, he was available. We didn't take him, so we have Derek Hall, and hopefully he has the same kind of career development that Mafe had himself, where Mafe was kind of up and down his rookie year, and Derek Hall and came on this next year, and then hopefully Derek Hall will come on next year because it was a high pick for that guy. Inside linebackers, they're all free agents. Well, I mean, not all free agents, but Wagner and Bush are two starters. Free ostensible starters are gone. Belore, free, probably going to be cut. Patrick O'Connell, who knows what we have in him. Drake Thomas, a lot of potential, but he got hurt early too. Ono Giogo is exclusive rights. Radigan is restricted free agent. Darrell Taylor, who was pretty much all he can do is rush the passer, and he's a liability everywhere else. Another restricted free agent. I kind of hope we find a trade partner for him. I would really like to get another pick in this draft because we're a little bit light. Michael Jackson at cornerback, also restricted free agent. He's been talked about as a trade candidate before during the trade deadline last year. Maybe that comes to pass here. We shall see. But I don't know. I mean, we have three solid starters three solid cornerbacks already in Spoon, Woolen, and Trey Brown. Andre Whitaker, I didn't even know who was on the team, so I was kind of surprised to see that he was on injured reserve. I didn't even know who he was. Offer at safety, Julian Love played pretty well. Jamal Adams was a dumpster fire, and which sucks. I liked Jamal Adams a lot. I really hoped that he would be able to have a great career here, despite the horrible trade. Trade was horrible. I would never want to have that kind of trade. But the player, we're not thinking about what we gave up for him, but I liked Jamal Adams, the player, when he was with the Jets, and he just was not that here. So that kind of stinks. So I totally see him being cut this year. I don't know if they're going to designate him this year or post June 1. We save a lot of money regardless, but we have more dead money if we cut him now. I'm not an accountant, so I'm not going to get into that part of it, but I just don't anticipate Jamal Adams being on the team next year. Jarek Reed, I loved Jarek Reed. I wished he played more. He got hurt, unfortunately. I didn't note that on here, but he did finish the year on IR. But he was great on special teams, and I think that he has a lot of potential as a safety in this league. Really excited about him. Diggs, again, he makes a lot of money. But I don't think we can just cut everybody that's expensive. I don't know that that's, the way to go about doing business. But, it would be nice if people could live up to their contracts. That would be nice, right? And we're really not seeing it with a lot of the contracts that we have, unfortunately. A lot of the people that we're paying the most money are not producing. And that's just an unfortunate fact. So Diggs, cut candidate? I don't know. Do you cut both your starting safeties? I don't know. But I think that Jarek Reed and Julian Love, I'd be fine with them, to be honest. In fact, John Sutherland on the practice squad, I was surprised that he was on the practice squad. He should have made the team, I think, last year. We have Ty Okada, who made the active roster, I guess, over Sutherland. Was he hurt? I don't know. Ty Okada played fine on special teams, but I don't know about his impact as a starting safety. Okay, so, and then, of course, we have Dixon and Myers. I don't know what's going on. Dixon, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. He's a fantastic punter. Myers, it was his odd year where he usually stinks in odd years, but he was okay. He acquitted himself fine last year. I think we only lost one game because of missed field goals. So, I don't know if that's acceptable, but it's a kicker. What are you gonna do? You can't make every kick. All right, so let's do a quick mock draft, shall we? All right, we are picking 16. I'll do this quickly with no trades, just to get a kind of a feel of at this early stage of the process, February, where kind of things stand draft wise, like where people are kind of falling right now according to PFF. All right, so onto the draft. Again, we're going to do no trades this time, and we're just going to go through it and see what happens. Okay, this puts me in a bad position because ordinarily, most years, we would need a pass rusher. Everyone needs a pass rusher. Dallas Turner is a great pass rusher. Why is he available here at 16? I would much rather take an offensive lineman, but I feel like because this draft is not as deep, the way that this has fallen right now, and again, I never try to do the same draft twice. I always mix it up a bit. So even if the next time Dallas Turner shows up in my feed again, I probably would go a different direction. But this time, I feel like I'm obligated to take him just because he's such a good player. I think he's the best pass rusher, personally. See, Talis Fuaga was chosen right before. I would have, in a heartbeat, drafted him. I think he's one of the top 10 players in the draft, and Indianapolis got him one spot before ours. That stinks. But Dallas Turner is a great player. I'm just going to go ahead and draft him, and we'll see what happens in round 3. All right, so here we have Rice, Michael Pratt, Sion Vaki, Brownlee, Solomon. See, Solomon's really good too. I think he's a really underrated pass rusher. I like him a lot. Ronaldo Green, fantastic cornerback. More of a press man variety, but maybe that's what we're going to be playing more. But is that really our need right now? We don't have any linebackers, and we don't have any offensive linemen. That's really what we should be looking at right now. I think. All right, so I'm going to go Peyton Wilson here. He's fine. He's one of the better linebackers in the draft. I'm gonna have to watch some more on him. I'm not in love with him. I think he's a really good player. I want to really solidify my opinion on him yet. I haven't really gone over the linebackers yet because it's kind of a weak class, right? Which stinks because we need linebackers. All right, and here I'm gonna go against. I'm going to go for someone who I think that we need, and that's Malachi Corley. Malachi Corley is a fantastic screen target. I think that that's something that we're going to have to really integrate in our offense, and I think that is something that Ryan Grubb is going to really want to do, and I don't think we have the personnel for it right now. Tyler Lockett can do it, but he's slowing down. D. Eskridge, we keep trying to make him do it, and he can't. So I think this is time. Malachi Corley is a fantastic screen receiver, and he can receive downfield as well too. But he had something like 109 screen targets alone in the past 2 years, which is insane. And not that he's really good at making people miss, but I think his skill is that his sense of space is just uncanny. He knows exactly where to be, where to go. He's a hands catcher, and I think he's a guy who can manufacture first downs, and I think that Ryan Grubb, again, University of Washington, had a lot of they led the league in drives, scoring touchdown drives of longer than 10 plays, and so I think that a successful screen game is an important part of that. You need to manufacture those first downs from behind the line of scrimmage, and Malachi Corley would just help us do that. I think he'd be an important part of the process. And here we go. We have both Cedric Van Pran and Zach Zinter available to us here at pick 118. Cedric Van Pran, center. He can also play guard. We don't have Olo team. We have no one behind him, but we're really looking for a starter. Could we start one of these guys at center, the other guy at guard? Sure, I think so. I don't know if I like Cedric Van Pran better or if I like Zach Zinter better. I'm going to go for Zach this time. I think with some Michigan ties, that might go over well with the Seahawks. Okay, and at 152, AJ Barner is there, Drake Nugent, and Braden McGregor. Wow, we have a whole bunch of Michigan players. Michael Barrett. Do I like Michael Barrett better than AJ Barner? I don't know yet. But it doesn't matter because I'm actually going to go with Theo Johnson from Penn State because we don't have any tight ends. So I think that this is a good time. I don't think that there's any real good tight ends that we're going to get later on in the draft. I think Theo Johnson has a lot of potential. 6'6", 245, can block and receive. We're always looking for those guys. So I think Theo Johnson's the way to go there. And now at 194, not even going to hesitate. Isaac Guerendo is the guy to get here. He is the ideal Seahawks running back. 6'1", 225, runs a sub 4.40. Fantastic player. Didn't get a lot of touches. I don't know why. It wasn't part of their offense much at Louisville, but he has a lot of tread in his tires still. So we'll definitely go Guerendo at that point. And here at 236, our last pick. Okay, we can go two ways here. We can see who's left at tackle. Not a whole lot. We can see who's left on the interior. Oh, I like both these guys. Okagun and Turner. They're not bad. Let's see who's left on the interior of the defensive line. Gabe Hall. There we go. We're drafting Gabe Hall. He showed a lot of potential on day one of the Senior Bowl. People kind of figured him out after that, but I think that the philosophy is if you can do something once, you can do it again. And he burned people that first day. I think we can kind of teach him how to do that on a bit more consistent basis. Okay, so Dallas Turner, of course, again an A+, because everyone loves pass rushers in the first round. Peyton Wilson, Malachi Corley, Zach Zinter, Theo Johnson, Isaac Guerendo, and Gabe Hall. So 3 on defense, 4 on offense. And this still leaves us with a lot of holes. I think that come draft time, we're going to have to really manipulate our roster around to try to generate more picks. Maybe trade Darrell Taylor, maybe trade someone else that there's a market for. Even if it's down in this range, there's still a lot of good players in here. Theo Johnson, Ben Sinnott out of Kansas State would be another good tight end around that same place. Frank Gore Jr., if only just to keep him away from the 49ers. Good. There's good players throughout this draft. It's not as deep, I think, as last year. Last year was a really good draft all the way through. This one kind of tapers off in round 6, but there's still good players to be had. So tell me what you think about this one. I like Dallas Turner, the player. I don't think this is a year we definitely need a Dallas Turner, which is weird, but great player regardless. We need help at linebacker. This is the type of player we need at wideout. I think this moves Jackson Smith and Jigba's role to be more of the Tyler Lockett role, which I think he would succeed at. I think we played him a bit weird last year. And I think the plays that we saw him more successful at were the ones that were a bit further downfield. I think Malachi Corley can be our screen guy. And we have a lot of success there and manufacture a lot of first downs. I think this would really help our offense. And then we just need bodies on the offensive line because we just don't have them. Tight ends, we don't have any tight ends. Running backs, we don't really need a running back. We'd probably pick one up, but we know what happens to our offense when our main backs are hurt. They really stall. So it's always good to have, more lottery tickets. And then Gabe Hall, I like him. He's got a lot of pass rush potential. Again, it's 7th round, so we're looking for his potential here anyway, right? So anyway, let me know what you guys think. I will stop talking now, and we'll do this again maybe next week. All right, guys, thank you so much. Throw me a like if you enjoyed it. Comment down below if you have anything to say, and subscribe if you are new. That would be nice. All right, thanks, guys. Take care. Bye.